Unknown prophet, are you ready to slay demons today? We're going to slay a lot of demons. We're going to try to bring the world into focus. This is the world of Elijah, and we're going to show you what that means. The world is currently at war. The world is currently at atomic war, which means that the war is being waged economically. The reason I say atomic, because never before has one nation had the power to destroy the economy of any other nation instantly, as in an atomic blast. This is possible because of the world dominated by the dollar. That's the universal trading device. We see this described in the INJIL in chapter 13, which should make everyone understand clearly who that beast is. His power was to prevent anyone from buying or selling. That's sanctions. That means he had the power to do that across the globe. The only country in the world at this point in time that is able to do that is America. So it should make it very clear who that beast is. Even though the preachers and the priests and the ministers and everyone is walking around to, oh man, this is so Antichrist coming, he's going to put this mark. Well, if you believe in that, if you can't see, then I guess you cannot see. That's happening right now. It's happening before your very eyes. America is the only country in the world that's able to do it, and they are doing it. If you don't obey America, and if you don't worship Israel, the image of the beast, then you will not be able to buy or sell. They destroy your economy overnight. And anyone who resists that, they destroy. Ask Saddam Hussein, ask Gaddafi, ask in Iran, who is trying to get off the dollar. Look at China. China is trying to start their own currency. So America has universal control because they have universal control of the dollar. That's the universal currency, and that was made possible by their agreement with Saudi Arabia, who was the primary financier, primary provider of oil, the lifeblood of the Caucasian nations. For decades, Roosevelt made an agreement with them that they would only trade with dollars. So you had to, or if you wanted oil from Saudi Arabia, you had to use dollars. So it became the universal currency of trade, universal trading device, which gave America the power to wage atomic warfare, as they are doing with Iran. They're forcing so-called illegal sanctions upon Iran, but those who will not go along with that, they are imposing sanctions upon them. They will not be able to buy or sell if they don't go along with America's will. And that goes without saying. If anyone argues with that, that's the same person that will argue with 2 + 3 = 5. That's clearly the beast in chapter 13. That's not even up to my debate. So we're at atomic warfare right now, which is every bit as devastating as nuclear war. A nuclear war you drop on the city, but maybe the rest of the country is okay. Economic warfare hits the whole country. Everyone, touches everyone. Babies who die because they're not getting proper medication, proper health care, people who die, elderly that die, people die because exposure, you know, not energy deficiency, because there's not enough electricity and things to keep the air conditioner on. All these different types of things happen when you wage economic warfare on the people. When they waged economic warfare on Iraq while Saddam Hussein was there, they killed over 50,000 babies. They dropped atomic bomb, it might not kill that many. And it's even worse because the Quran tells you persecution is worse than slaughter. So if they drop the bomb, boom, you're gone. You may not even realize it. But economic sanction means you may starve to death, or you may sit there and you may need a dialysis. You can't get it. So because you don't see it happening, so they can get away with it. Say, well, it's just economics. It's economic warfare, and America is waging it. So economic warfare leads into subatomic warfare. What's subatomic warfare? Subatomic warfare is when you wage war subatomically. That means, you haven't reached atomic weapons yet. So-called conventional warfare. That happened with Japan. America put an embargo on Japan, which was a superpower at the time in the Orient, and Japan reacted. Thus, Pearl Harbor. No nation will sit and let you starve its people to death. I mean, they would be irresponsible. So America is waging economic warfare on the nations, not just Iran, North Korea, to some extent China, Venezuela. Anyone who doesn't go along with America is getting the treatment. They will not be able to buy or sell. So that should lock up chapter 13 for you. So that's where we are right now. Now, what does all this have to do with Elijah Muhammad? Because all these things that happen now is because of Elijah Muhammad. Before Elijah Muhammad, the Jews was the most hated people on the planet. The Arabs didn't care nothing about niggers over here in America. The Sunnis didn't care nothing about niggers over here in America. Didn't even see any of their shops in the black neighborhoods. They ain't come in around black folks. The Jews were sucking black folks' blood, but they was hated all over the planet. The Jews are hated all over the planet. And then they met Hitler, and he tried to eliminate them, and everybody was on board with that. The only problem they had with Hitler is he didn't finish the job. Everybody was on board with that. See? Then you had the demons. Who are the demons? The demons are the devil's seed. You find that parable in the wheat and the chaff, where it says the devil sowed his seed among the wheat. So for 400 years, they relentlessly, unrestrained rape upon black women, producing demons, black-faced Caucasians. They're not our seed. That's important. Seed. So they was mixed in with us. And during slavery, we knew who they were, and we avoided them because they was the ones in house niggers, because the slave master would bring them in the house because that was his children. If they was out in the fields, we didn't trust them because they know they was betraying us. They was, ratting us out. They was the ones they would pick to beat the slaves to death and play did something wrong. They was worse on the slaves than the slave master was. So we knew to avoid them. But after so-called Civil War, they mixed in with us, and everybody was just going along. See, that was a situation before Elijah. Then Elijah started saying, the original people in America are the true seed of Abraham. Now, that's not so remarkable on its face because the slaves during so-called slavery time used to sing those songs. Go down, Moses, go down to Egypt land, tell Pharaoh, let my people. They used to sing those songs. And white folks laughed at it because they know niggas would never go. God didn't love niggas, and that was just something. And they didn't care. They sang all they want to, as long as they worked. But then, after Pharaoh came himself, as God said he would, and raised up Elijah, and Elijah started teaching that, and it began to gain resonance. Why? Because we had the receipt. It was a covenant, a blood covenant, and we had paid the price. We had the receipt. See, it's paid in full, and we had the receipt. So they could not deny that. So that was a big problem. Because if we are the true seed of Abraham, what are the implications? What are the implications? That means the devil's like Elijah Muhammad said. That means the Jews are liars, they're fraud. That means that Saudi Arabia, they're occupying our land. That's our land. And that means the demons, they're really devils. They're not, because the promise was to the seed of Abraham, and they're not of the seed of Abraham. They're seed of white folks. So there was a distinction between black folks now. Before, we was all together, lumped in a bunch. The good with the bad. And the bad was giving us a bad name. So that was pre-Elijah. But now, all of a sudden, if that's the truth, what he's saying, I just outlined the implications. They couldn't have that. That narrative could never take hold in America. That the devils are really devils, Caucasians are really devils, and they're going to be punished by God. And these niggas that we've been doing all this to, they the real seed of Abraham. And the land of Arabia, which is really North Africa, belongs to them. And that the Jews really ain't the Jews, they're frauds. That narrative could never take root. Think about it, it could not. They could not never take root. So it had to take the company a different narrative. All of a sudden things changed. Everything changed. And another side issue was really not a side issue. It's a tangent issue, but we'll deal with it more in detail at another time. There was another proof. Not only did we have the receipt, but the fact about Yaqub creating the devils, because, okay, well, that sounds like real, fantasy, whatever, animation. But there was a physical proof right on the planet. There was a big physical proof right on the planet that actually took place. It was right in plain sight. Yaqub started his process over 6,000 years ago. It took 600 years to complete, as the messenger said. So they slowly grafted the white from the black, like, at the grafting process. Today we'll call it genetic engineering. So Yaqub didn't live to 600 years to see the end of it. He didn't know what the devils would look like. He had some idea, but he had no actual picture. He knew that he wanted to make a man that was as all the accessories gone. In other words, he's going to take this BMW, strip it all the way down, take everything out of it. It would just be drivable. That would be it. Power steering, power windows, radio, all, take everything out of it. Still be a car, but have no accessories. See? That's his thing. That was his objective. See? Take the paint off of everything. You just have a car that you could drive. Engine, steering wheel, you see. So he had some idea what it would look like, but he didn't know. So how would they know when to stop? He said, "We have 600 years to stop." Because maybe they didn't, he wasn't going to be there, so maybe they got slack for 100 years, whatever. So that means that after 600 years, they wouldn't have got to the end. There'd have to be some way to know when they stopped. And that would be at the point where the intellectual level of the people, you understand, became diminished to the point where they were humanly intellectual. I use that term. See, they had human intellectual capability. What is that? They still be humanoid, but not human intellectually. Well, that's what they call the so-called retarded people. They're humanoid, but they don't have the electrical capacity of humans. And what did they used to call them before Elijah? Mongoloid. You never heard that term before? Look it up. Mongoloid. They didn't call them Down syndrome. They didn't call them retarded. They called them Mongoloid. Why? Because they all look alike, don't they? No matter what race they are, color they all look alike. It was all called Mongoloid. Why? Because the Mongols, they look like the Mongols. Uh-oh, what does that mean? That's how they knew when to stop. Because when you get a retarded person, they don't have the same chromosome structure as humans. They have another chromosome that we don't have, additional one, which technically means they're not human, technically. But they have all of, they're not apes. They can speak. You see? So they're classified as human, but intellectually deficient. That's the line where they stopped. So then all the people that was born that way at that time when they stopped, they did something to it. They could either kill them all or do something with them. So they took them all, moved them far north as they could, away from everybody, away from civilization, because they had no means of protecting themselves. They taught them picture language, which is children language, like you have in kindergarten. No manufacturing, they had any manufacturing capability, so they gave them 2 twigs, deep with chopsticks. See, gave them domesticated dogs so they wouldn't have to hunt. They love dogs up there. They taught them the most simplest form of farming, which is rice. You stomp around in the rice fields. That's them. That was right there in front of everybody's face. That was proof that the grafting process took place. So they stopped calling them mongoloids. Stopped calling them Down syndrome, mentally challenged. All this happened as a result of Elijah. So they had to cover. Remember, once they were exposed, they had to start covering their tracks. They had to do it quickly, because nowhere in the world we could be the true seed of Abraham. So they had to cover tracks on that one. Then they had to produce somebody, an alternate to the seed of Abraham. So-called Jews. They've been saying, okay, now they set false Israel. All this happened in the same period of time. All this happened in the same period of time. Set false Israel. Most hated nation of all the people in the world. All of a sudden, their asses became honeypots and everybody's eating their honey. So they set false Israel. See, because that was the promise, remember? Their return. So they brought all the so-called Jews that false. See, they got to be. Because look, save eternal, that's the promise. You see? And then what happened to Sunnis, the dragon? They come after Elijah Muhammad. Oh, he ain't Muslim. He ain't no real prophet. He ain't no messenger. You can't listen to him. They was the ones putting down. They was putting down. They was the ones putting down the messenger more than anybody. They started coming over here, opening up their stores in the black neighborhood. Pushing poor, pushing pornography. Instead, messing with the women and carrying on, which they had nothing to do with before that. It had nothing to do with black folks. They've been over in Detroit for over 100 years, and not one email ever came out and said boogaboo to a black person about anything, even though they knew that we was Muslim when we first came over here, because they was hard. They was part of the people that grabbed us out of Africa. They're the ones that got with the guys to the Europeans who had no knowledge of Africa. They was the guys that guided them to get us. So hell with them. So think about this. This is all happening as a cause of Elijah. Elijah Muhammad had full power. He impacted the whole world, repeating what the words that Fraud gave him. He said, God said he put his words in his mouth. See? And then suddenly, now the demons rise up. So-called social, you understand, civil rights. All of a sudden they rise up. See? And they want to be closer to daddy. Black folks didn't want to have nothing to do with daddy. They was leaving those farms and running up north, getting away from white folks, away from the farm. As soon as they was able, they got the hell away from there. Ran as far away from it as they can. But a lot of demons stayed. Most of the demons stayed there. They wanted to be sharecroppers because they wanted to stay with daddy. They didn't leave them farms. You say, oh, they didn't leave because no, they didn't leave because they owned the farms. No, they would still work on daddy's farms because they didn't want to leave daddy. They wanted recognition from daddy. They didn't want to leave daddy. They stayed down in the farm. They were sharecroppers. They was working just as hard as they were when they was like a slave, and probably treated just as badly as they were when they were slaves. But they didn't care because they wanted to be next to daddy. Because that's their daddy. That's why they don't change their names. Because that's their real names. Say, oh, no, they're not going to change their name. Daniel Hickabout, Daniel top bottom, whatever. That's their real names. That's their surnames because they're demons. They're not going to change it because that's their real names. Why should they change it? They're identifying themselves. That's their real names. So all this happened in the same period of time as a result of Elijah. So Elijah was no small town, little bitty, some John the Baptist in the desert, you understand, eating honey. See? Fraud lifted him up and made a God out of him. God is force and power. He changed the world. And you don't even know that the world, he changed the world. You have most of this you never heard of. You never even thought of it like this. All this, what's happening right now is because of what Elijah did. And they're responding to what Elijah, that's why all this stuff is going on. That's why this war is about to break out. They want this war. They want to get rid of us. The devils want to get rid of us. The dragon wants to get rid of the idea that we even think that we're the seed of Abraham. See? And the Jews want that also. Because dragons don't want us to come over here taking their land from them. Sunnis don't want us come Arabia. Sunnis don't want us going over to Arabia taking their land from them. See? So they don't want us to even think about the promise. They don't want us to even think about it, even have any knowledge of it. And the devils don't want us to think that we're the seed of Abraham. They want us to get that idea up. When you think about it. See? So Elijah Muhammad changed the world. So now we have these enemies. Because the demons, they don't acknowledge that promise. I don't want to hear that about no seed of Abraham. That ain't us. We stand here. See, we love America. See? And they suck in our blood because they live off of us. They can't live off white folks. White folks ain't gonna let them live off of them. They live off of us. They go around these stupid movies betraying us and make us look bad all over the world. They're killing, raping, robbing us. They're selling drugs to us. You understand? They're so-called politicians that get us to get black folks to vote for them, and then they don't do anything but rip off black folks. So we have these enemies. I call them the 4 Ds: the demons, the dragons, the devils, and the devil. 4 Ds. And they all have a vested interest in us not getting the reward that we already paid for. We had the receipt. We have the receipt. So they can't not they can't stop. Yes, they know they cannot stop Allah's will. They have that much sense. But if they can get us to renege on it, I mean to renounce it, that's a different story. Take for instance, if and I take and pay you for this house. I save money. I give you $10,000, $100,000 for this house to build this house. Okay. So once I give you the money, I say, oh man, I can't build this house, man. It's a problem. I don't want to do it, but I got the money. I said, how about what about this? I got a house over here. It's a little old. I built it a couple of years ago. It's a nice house. You know. Plus, I'll provide you, understand, with maintenance for 10 years, free maintenance. Anything goes wrong with it. So why don't you take that instead? You see, it's already ready. Because if you take that now, you can move it now. If I have to build your house, it's going to take a year or two before you get into it. So look how much money you save if you move in now. So you take that deal. Once you accept that house, then contractors, you can't go into the court and say, hey, they ripped me off. And they didn't know because you accept the counter offer. Once you accept it, the contract is fulfilled. That's it. It's over. So if they can get you accept the counter offer, then that solves everybody's problem. Then you ain't going out here trying to take Arabia back. You ain't going out here claiming that you the seed of Abraham anymore, because you had the proof of it. You have to return, and you didn't. So that proves that you're not. And you stay here in America. So now, because the devils know, and the Quran says it clearly, Allah will never destroy a nation while the righteous are among them. So a messenger said we were hostages, so we stay right here. So they're covered. Everybody's covered. The demons covered because they share the same fate as their fathers. So now you're still here and they still living off of you. Because so that promise you accept the counter offer. So Allah has no obligation to fulfill the promise anymore because you accept the counter offer. So He's not obligated anymore because you accepted a counter offer. So how do they get you to do that? They have to have a slick salesman, somebody you recognize, somebody that looks like you, to come and sell you on that. Oh, look at here, man. Hey, brother. We ain't going no man. Look, let's stay. We can get 6 states over here. How about 6 states? See, we can get 6 states out of them. See, we ain't got to go nowhere. We stay right here and get 6 states. See, and they get you to buy that, then Allah's obligation to you is true. Everybody's happy, and you just gave up your birthright because the lessons tell us that we kept the best part of earth for ourselves. Now you about to give it away. You got to let someone talk you into giving it away for the worst part of the earth. You about to let someone talk you into giving it away. You already paid for it. You paid the blood price. We have the receipt. So you're about to let someone talk you into giving it away. Someone looks like you. Because you have to have somebody look like you, somebody you trust. Mr. Farrakhan, what does he have to do to prove to you he's a demon? He's already said, and has the documentation, his own words, his files Portuguese. Portuguese are devils. And he goes further than that, he said they're Jews. I mean, come on. Then he's talking about bringing white people into the NOI. I got the video. It's clear. It's not in Chinese. It's not in Spanish. It's clear English. Yeah, he wants to bring. He sees the day when he bring white folks into the nation of Islam. Now, tell me what lesson is that? So that's how they solve the problem. That's one way. See? But then, once they get you to agree to that, see, if they can get you to take this house, and you say, okay, yeah, I'll do that. And then once you sign off that, they free. See? But they don't want you to have the house either. They just want you to get out of that contract that you're already in. So you keep the money. But he wants the house too. He don't want you to have the house. So they got to find somebody to assassinate your ass. See, because once you sign off, then an obligation. Allah has no obligation to you anymore. That problem's solved. The only problem they have now is that they got to give you this house. It's ultimate. And if you die after you've already completed sign off with another agreement, everybody's happy because now they ain't have to even pay you that. You see, and that's where we are right now. Because let's deal shrewdly with them. It's in the context of war. Read it. So to drown their sons and spare their women. They're talking about gender. See, that's where you get it wrong because you don't understand the INJIL. Because now they can draft black men and black women. And the river in the INJIL represents the Oriental and the Asian nations, China, India specifically. A 200 million man army. It says it, 200 million men. America only has 300 million people in it. So if they get in a war with them, they have to draft everybody, every able person, everybody, unless they want to go nuclear. And they're not going to do that because China's nuclear also. So they want a war. It says in INJIL, they prepare for war. You don't prepare for something you know that you're prepared for. That's what you're looking for. America's building on this army because that's what they're looking for. Looking for this war to get rid of you. Because once they get into this war, they're gonna have to draft every able-bodied man, woman, and child, and that's gonna be all of you, all of the reproductive black women and black men. And throw them into the river, into that war, to be destroyed. What's left they can deal with, that'd be into the black folks. And how they turn it off? At the threat of nuclear war. Everybody backs off, but you're gone. That's how they plan on getting rid of you. So they don't have to give you the house either. So now they're free from the covenant. See, you signed off on that. Now you're dead, so you don't even get the house. You don't get those 6 states they promise you. That's the plan. If you understand the scriptures, that's the plan. That's the plan. That's what they're trying to do to you. That's what they're preparing for you. You see? And they have to have somebody that looks like you to sell it to you. Oh no, America belongs to us. We're not going anywhere. We have to protect America. What does that mean? It means you have to go to war and help fight for America if it's yours. If America is yours, you got to fight for it. Elijah Muhammad went to jail to just say the opposite. That we ain't got no business fighting for none of this, and this belongs to us. He said just the opposite. And now you got some petition telling you, no man, this is ours. We ain't going nowhere. We got to protect it. And the devil ain't the devil anymore. They're the enemy. If they're the enemy, your enemy can become your friend. A devil cannot be anything but a devil. Are they the enemy? Elijah Muhammad told me to stop calling. Elijah Muhammad called them devils all the way up to the time he left. He ain't told them no such lie. Don't call them devils anymore. If that was the case, how come he kept calling them devils for years until recently he started saying they're not devils anymore? So he wasn't obeying Elijah before? This is where we are. This is where we are. So when the war breaks out in the Middle East, the dragon and his angels, Michael and his angels, who's Michael? Michael is the one that's going to deliver. Michael is the one that kills the dragon and the devil. Ain't that what Farad does? So we're going to have this a duo going on here. We have a redux. Obviously, Michael is Farad. And that's how the Iranians win. That's how they win. Because Farad is going to be helping them. And Trump is going to see the hand of Farad in that war. And that's going to scare the hell out of him. And he's not going back over there once they get kicked out. He's not going back over there. So when Iran has total control of the Middle East, all the holy sites, Mecca, Medina, the whole ball of wax, and Jerusalem, and they have surrounded Israel, they siege to it, they've taken it, and now those people living in Israel, they're going to be at the mercy of the Palestinians who had been oppressing for 70 years. Good luck with that. Only thing I can say about that is whoa. Anyway, when they have total control, then Saudi Arabia, who have escaped, the South Saudi who escaped with all that money, is going to be pissed off at America because America will not go back because they saw the hand of Farad. They ain't going back over there. You gotta take it. You gotta take it back. You gotta take it back. No, I ain't going back over there. So now they're going to be issuing fatwas. You understand? Blaming America because America didn't keep its promise to protect their position as long as they gave free oil. So they're going to be issuing fatwas. And so how do you think these students are going to react? America, Elijah Muhammad said they're going to go crazy in this country. They would burn, tear up everything, blow up every gas station, whatever, anything in sight. How do you think they're going to react? How do you think they're going to react? They're blowing themselves up now. So they Saudi Arabia's, with all that money, financing them and issuing fatwas, they're going to tear America apart. They're going to blame America for the Shia, man, they got control of the Middle East. Oh, man. Because these guys, they foam at the mouth of Shia. I mean, they hate the Shia so much. They hate the Shia more than they hate the Jews. Oh, man. They're going to go crazy. You're going to see chaos in America. You're going to see terrorism in America on a scale you never imagined. But it's going to be twofold. Because once the war starts, the Ancient of Days is going to take control. He says, those are cast down. See? Because Farrakhan is going to be just like everybody else. He's going to be fused and confused like everyone else is. And everybody, how can you tell? How can you pass? How do you know anything about this? He's going to be just like a deer standing in his headlights like everyone else. And he's going to be deposed. And all the labors are cast down. The thrones are cast down. And Ancient of Days is set. And he opens the books. See, that's the judgment. See? So he's cast down. And then the truth will be exposed, and these black folks, these Christian black folks, won't go crazy because they ain't gonna want to go to war. They're going to go over there because they realize what it's all about. So they're going to go crazy. They're going to tear this country apart for about 5 months. About 5 months, they're going to tear this country apart. So you got the Sunnis on one hand tearing up everything, and you got the insurrection by the black Christians. But the Muslims, they're going to be cool. Those ones that's with the Ancient Days, the ones that was with Farrakhan, the son of perdition, woo. That's what I got to say about you. So you're talking all that BS now, talking big, call people names, you can't talk about men and all. Okay, we see. We have a point of meeting. We have a rendezvous. We're going to meet. We're going to get together. See how that works out. Anyway, this is about to happen. We ain't talking about years anymore. This will happen soon. It will happen on Trump's watch. It's going to happen within days. They're just at the verge of war now. The war could break out any day. Once it breaks out, all this stuff's going to happen very quickly. So now you got the Middle East under control of the Shia, who everybody been stomping on and using and abusing. Now they control all the oil in the Middle East. Oil that Europe depends on. Then you got all these Arabs, Sunnis run into Europe, flooding into Europe. Europe may piss off. And it's going to be an immediate war between Europe and America, because Europe is not going to have access to energy, because they get the energy either from Russia, see, or the Middle East, and they'll be cut off from both. See, war. And war is going to follow immediately. Plus, Russia's going to be blamed because they're going to be blamed for helping Iran. So you can see over in this country, people are going to go crazy. The evangelicals, they're going to put so much pressure on Trump. Trump, you got to do something. Russia, man, look, they mad because they say they're meddling their affairs. What do you think they're going to do when they say to help America be defeated in Iran? How do you think they're going to feel that? But not to mention that's not really going to be driving them. What's driving them is their eschatology, their whole eschatology. Everything they have is based on the fact that Israel is the true seed of Abraham, the true thing. Israel is not real. Israel is not real. This the whole thing is built on that. It's all built on that. And the whole prophecy says once they return, they will never be uprooted. Never. But now they just got rooted. They got vanquished. They're being torn apart by the Palestinians. So something's wrong. And the rapture didn't happen. Who's probably raptured? When they got ruptured. Their minds got ruptured. They didn't get raptured. They got ruptured. They're going to go crazy. Just think. So they're going to have to establish that vision. Because, I mean, otherwise they would go mad. That's why it says they'd be walking around drunk without having a drink. Because the whole reality is based on that. Just think if you woke up one day and you looked around and there was these elders walking around with 3 legs and kind of right in front of you. What the hell? You go mad. Because that's something that totally out of any frame of reference that you might have or anything you would expect. They told their people, this is what's going to happen. That's why they're pushing this war. Because the thing is, remember, part of the promise was they would get the whole land of Abraham. This guy's little sliver called so-called Israel. So they expect to have this war so they can get all of it. Because if they can break the back of Iran, they can roll up the rest of the Middle East, because Iran's the only one holding them back. Egypt already bent the knee. Turkey is like wavering. Jordan has bent the knee. Saudi Arabia's got their face up there behind. I mean, they don't know Saudi Arabia from their butts. So they got to roll up Iran. So that's why they want that war, the evangelicals. But America wants the war because they want to get rid of us. That's their plan, to get rid of us. It says it right in there. See? So they all want this war. So once it happens, they're going to go mad because it's not going to come out like they thought. And if Israel is vanquished, that's not supposed to happen. So they're going to put so much pressure on Trump. He may go bald head overnight. He may walk out next day with no hair, not one drop of hair on his head. They're going to put so much pressure on him. He's got to do something. You got to do something. Israel ain't supposed to go nowhere. So that means you have to do something. And he's not going back over there. He don't see the hand of Farad. He's not sending any troops back over there. His generals already told what the hell happened to them. They saw these things flying around. They already keep this so-called UFO secret. Now they started to come out with it little by little. So they said, hey, he ain't going back over there. It says he will see tidings out of the north, now uh, out of the north, now the west. So I said I get a little mixed up. So anyway, if you read it, you'll see in Daniel that will trouble him. He go out to destroy. That means he's going to another war. He's going to another war. That means a war in Europe. But and he gonna have to do. He gonna have a passing and leaving. He's going to send a passing blow. That's called the abomination of this desolation. See, that's an act that's so terrible, so appalled. It's going to appall everyone. Appall everyone. Desolation, abomination of desolation. Some call the abomination of appallment. Anyway, it's going to be so devastating. So he's going to nuke a religious site. See, hoping to, shake the shield. Maybe they'll give up. Whatever. That's going to be his passing blow. That's what it says. It says, when you see that, run to the mountains. Get the hell out of there. Because that'll be a time of unprecedented trouble. It said the wrath of God will be severe on those people. What people? It says, woe to those who are pregnant. It don't mean women that's pregnant with children. You understand the symbolism of it. They're talking about America and Britain. America's pregnant with us. So is Britain. They're the ones that took us over here. They're the ones that the wrath is upon. It says, be wrath upon them. Wrath upon these people. God's wrath. That's why they get the hell out. Run to the mountains. You got to understand what all that means. See? So those days will be days of wrath. It means all hell breaks loose. So once that war starts, your life will not be the same. You will not be sitting around watching NFL, Empire, Game of Thrones, whatever. You won't be doing that no more. But first of all, you're going to have an energy crisis. America say they're independent, oil independent. We'll see. Because they won't be getting oil from the Middle East anymore. And the military they're going to be at war, so the military will have to use all that they have reserved. So where it leaves you, place is going to be terrible, and these evangelicals are going to go insane once they realize that their vision was a nightmare. And Elijah Muhammad said they're going to turn on each other because they're going to say, how come you didn't tell us that these people was the true seed of Abraham? Elijah Muhammad said that. Even if you told them, they wouldn't have believed it. They're going to turn on each other. And black folks are going to tear this country apart because they realize they're being set up to go and be destroyed in that war. You got Sunnis running around crazy, just blowing up everything. You got the evangelicals, they nuts. And all these Indians and people from the foreign countries. Which are they going to think about Muslims here? After they just got their ass kicked over the Middle East by Muslims. Remember what happened with 9/11? It's going to be terrible. And all these Indians over here, I would advise them to leave right now. Because the Bible says anyone who's caught outside their country in the foreign, they will be cut through. Because these people will be totally paranoid. Because America is going to go to be at war with in Europe, and the Quran says he will cause Gog and Magog in order to surge against each other. So now they all fight. Europeans fighting each other, and then true hell is exposed. So then comes the flood. That's a 200 million man army. That's the tidings that it said the king of the south would hear. You understand? And he would go forth to destroy. In other words, now he's got to fight them too. But now he can't. It's out of control. He thought they would control it, but now they can't control it. It's out of control. It didn't go like they expected. That's out of control. The sword within, the sword without. America's be torn apart inside and war outside. And then the Son of Man, or the Ancient of Days, will be in control. Right here in America, the judgment will take place here. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. See, thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. See, if you understood that, you understand this all talking about this war. So that's where the four winds blow, and that's where the resurrection takes place. Because after they finish tearing it up, and they see all this going on, and then the resurrection, all the black folks will come running to the Nation of Islam, to the Ancient of Days. He has cast down the thrones. Now he's come with his full of soap. Now think about this full of soap. He said he will come to Elijah's temple. That means not Elijah with the full of soap, because he's coming to Elijah's temple. So he said he's coming to clean up Elijah's mess. Really? You say that's Farrakhan? So Farrakhan's coming to clean up Elijah's mess? You say Elijah made a mess? Or is somebody coming to clean up Farrakhan's mess? Think about it. That means he's separating the demons from the wheat, separating the chaff from the wheat. That's what it means. Clean it up. So that's the man, Jesus is taking, force the demons to come out from the man. So they come out. What? They run back to daddy. They run back to the swine. They run back to the daddy. They run back to the swine because now they've been rejected. See, Oprah runs up. Hey, Oprah. See, Oprah's money is not to be worth anything at that time. Money would not be worth anything. He said they'd be throwing their gold and silver into the streets. All that's going to be ours. But she don't have any. But she still calls it like she's a big shot. Well, Oprah, how did you ever help the Nation of Islam? Did you ever have anybody from Nation of Islam come on any of your shows? You ever support anything to the Nation of Islam? Show me a receipt that you ever gave anything to the Nation of Islam. Well, then you get your ass out of here. Because all your shows, all they were, was putting down black men. See? That's the nature of the judgment. See? Oh, some of these comedians. Oh, you was playing nigga. What's those Whiners Brothers or whatever they are? They show clowns all over the planet. So people think that we're the clowns, that they are. And why was you clowning? Why would you make black folks like fools and clowns? Oh man, I was trying to make some money. Well, okay, well, go out and keep making some money. Just get the hell away from here. They're gonna separate the demons out, and then they're gonna run back to daddy, and they're gonna go off the cliff together. Because they realize their fate is their daddy's fate, so they're gonna fight. They're gonna fight. They're gonna fight with daddy, going off the cliff together. And then at that time, Farad will come and deliver the elect. And that's a whole subject altogether. He's going to come and deliver the elect. That's where we are right now. See? So in closing, the son of perdition, remember, he's also the mouth. Aaron was noted for his mouth. We already paid the blood price. So if we paid the blood price, that means now comes the Exodus. So if the blood price is paid, Exodus also has to take place. We are in the time of Exodus. And after Moses left, Aaron took over. Aaron's only attribute was his mouth. They talk about this mouth in INJIL, called Revelation, and in Daniel. They said he would reign for 42 years. He would make war with the saints. The saints, who is that? That's the original people. He would make war with the saints and overcome them. Because the saints are going to get the kingdom. Who's going to get the kingdom? Elijah Muhammad said the kingdom belongs to us. So that means they're talking about the original people. He make war with them. He overcome them. That's Farrakhan. He's the mouth. Unless, say 42 years, unless there's another 42 years coming. He even says it's the end. So, I mean, there's all kinds of signs to tell you who he is. So if you don't know by now, you don't want to know. That means you're a demon like he is. He's a chief demon. Why is he putting down the prophecy of Abraham? Why is he minimizing it? We ain't going nowhere. What? He called Allah a liar. We ain't going nowhere. Why is he saying that? Think about it. I ain't trying to turn you against, if you, like the last thing it said, INJIL says, if you filthy, stay filthy. If you're righteous, stay righteous still. If you're a demon, we're not trying to convert you. We're not trying to convert you anything. We want you to stay a demon. We want you to be open. We want you out there open so it's easy to get rid of you. You see? Because you already look like us, you can walk like talk like us, you can pretend, but we don't. That means it take a little more difficulty in bringing you out. See? But we still gonna get you. But we don't want you. You're not Abraham's seed. We don't want you. So hopefully this brings everything in perspective. This is where we are. So you know when this war starts what to expect. Because you're not getting that from the Farrakhan. He doesn't know. He's not even talking about it. He's talking about all kinds of stuff that don't make any sense. Stuff that's totally contrary to everything the message talked about. If he knew, he wouldn't tell you, but he doesn't know. So he's covering his ass. See? Because once it jumps off, then all of a sudden he knows all about it. But he says God, he says Jesus, he says he knows the INJIL, but he's not teaching the INJIL. And that's how you would know who the Ancient of Days is, because he would break the seals. That's how you would know. And he hasn't broken. Elijah didn't break them. Farad didn't break it, because they did. How come you don't know anything about it? How come you still confused? I'm breaking the INJIL and I'm explaining everything to you in detail. I can ask any question you want about it. And once you understand how it works, you can figure it out for yourself. Because not only am I telling you what it means, I'm showing you how to figure it out for yourself. If you look at my videos, usually at the back of my videos, I give you an explanation of different chapters, how to figure out for yourself, how it works. Okay. So, anyway, this is to the elect and to the Levites. See, there's a difference there. Elijah was a Levite. Elijah raised the widow's son. See, that's the Nation of Islam. They're Levites. And they were commissioned, they were drafted into the nation, grafted into the tribe of Judah. They're not the tribe of Judah. They were grafted in. It tells you, Scripture tells Elijah was a Levite. And he raised the widows, he raised the Levites. The Nation of Islam, that was the Levites. They're Levites. They're a priest tribe. And their mission was to listen for and receive God's messengers, prophets, whatever, and make that known to the children of Judah, to Judah. That was their mission. They're a priest tribe. That's why Elijah was selected. And he did his job 100% perfect. I have no issue with Elijah. Yeah, he made mistakes because it says in the lesson he made mistakes. But that's not the issue. He did everything Farad told him to do with perfection. Mistakes he made was on his back, not on Farad's back. See? So you have, but the Levites, they didn't fulfill. He was supposed to do. But now the Levites there, the Nation of Islam, they're not doing it. They refuse to do it. So they got to go through the tribulation period. They got to be clear. They're the silver. The tribe of Judah is the gold. Okay? They got to go through the tribulation. They'll be put back in the furnace again. Because that's what they were supposed to do, and they didn't do it. Okay? That's what it means about the man that was purged with plagued with demons. Once Jesus separated demons from the man, when Jesus left, he told him he wouldn't take him with him. He wanted to go with him. He said, "No, you can't go with me." He healed the man, but he wouldn't let him go with him. That's somebody in the Nation of Islam. So the Saints of Day is going to clean him up, come with full of soap. But because they reject him and didn't listen, they got to go to the tribulation. He said, these are they who came through the great tribulation. He talks about that in the Revelations. Anyway, hopefully you understand. I try to put everything in perspective here, because this is jumping off right now as we speak. And we're quickly going to move from the atomic war to the subatomic war, which will happen within days. Assalamu alaikum.
Genesis 15:13. Now when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and behold, terror and great darkness fell upon him. God said to Abram, Know for certain that your seed will be sojourners, temporary, in a land that is not theirs, where they will be enslaved and oppressed 400 years. But I will also judge the nation whom they will serve, and afterward they will come out with many possessions. As for you, you shall go to your fathers in peace, you will be buried at a good old age. Then in the fourth generation they will return here, for the iniquity of the Amorite is not yet complete. Acts 7:6. But he gave him no inheritance in it, not even a foot of ground, and yet, even when he had no child, he promised that he would give it to him as a possession, and to his seed after him. But God spoke to this effect, that his seed would be sojourners, temporary, in a foreign land, and that they would be enslaved and mistreated for 400 years. And whatever nation to which they will be in bondage I myself will judge, said God, and after that they will come out and serve me in this place. Ezekiel 20. Will you judge them, will you judge them, Son of man? Make them know the abominations of their fathers, and say to them, Thus says the Lord God, on the day when I chose Israel and swore to the seed of the house of Jacob and made myself known to them in the land of Egypt, when I swore to them, saying, I am the Lord your God, on that day I swore to them, to bring them out from the land of Egypt into a land that I had selected for them, flowing with milk and honey, which is the glory of all lands.
In a moment of candor, the false Jews reveal that they are not the inheritors of the, quote, promise of return, end quote, which had to be preceded by 400 years of enslavement. It never happened to them.
John 8:31. So Jesus was saying to those Jews who had believed him, If you continue in my word, then you are truly disciples of mine, and you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. They answered him, We are Abraham's seed and have never been enslaved to anyone. How is it that you say, you will become free?